if you're even a semi-recent viewer of the channel, you have seen I've been doing my laps of Ubisoft's best games from the 2010s era, from Assassin's Creed Black Flag to Far Cry 5, and now we're Far Cry 3. Probably the best of these really damn good games. Soon I'm going to be replaying Watch Dogs and Far Cry 4 as well. But what separates Far Cry 3 from all these games that I loved and still really like today is the story and character writing. You gotta remember, this is the era of Ubisoft with, probably in my opinion, some of the most iconic characters in gaming, at least at the time, and definitely some of the most badass antagonists that shed the traditional meaning of what it means to be a quote-unquote bad guy. Then on top of that, you add the best stealth of any Far Cry game, which is also a really big deal for me, where there's an actual method of playstyle rather than just some fugazi tacked on gameplay toggle system. You take all those factors into play, and for me it makes Far Cry 3 one of Ubisoft's top 3 games I've ever played. Now before I continue to glaze the game, as I will be doing for the majority of this video, let me make it known right now, there are criticisms for this game. Nothing that's like a deal breaker, but definitely issues I have with the general game design that plagued these type of games in the early 2010s. But even with those problems that annoyed me for large parts of the mid to late game, I still think this game right here transformed like the modern Ubisoft world design. Or rather, I guess I should probably say that it's transcended that design philosophy, since the same issues appear in most modern Ubisoft games, at least open world games, but they have far less charm. And I'll go over what I think separates this game from modern Ubisoft.
You like what you see, I can tell.
Now the TLDR of the video is Far Cry 3 is a very incredible game with some batshit insane gameplay, amazing set piece boss fights, super engaging stealth gameplay that would even make Ghost Recon games proud, and deeply relatable characters in the story. But it's not a masterpiece. After coming back and replaying this game for like the 4th time, I can confidently say that it's a 9 out of 10 game. And for me, a masterpiece has to be a 10 out of 10 game without question, which I've only given those honors to 10 games of all time. Coincidentally, it's by top 10 games of all time as well, so I guess that tracks. As for a more detailed look at what I think makes this game still such an incredible game despite having mild design hiccups, stick around because I'm going to break down the good and the bad depending on what relevance it has when I'm discussing it. I find it is much easier to do it this way and just much more natural than categorizing points into pros and cons, because in reality when you're playing a game, it doesn't work like that. You don't methodically separate the good from the bad. You just play the game as is, so I'm going to talk about it the same way as well. Anyways, let's begin.
You were thinking crazy, huh? Jumping out of airplanes, flying like birds. That is crazy. I like this phone. This is a nice fucking phone.
So the first thing I want to talk about, and really the only way to begin, is with the story itself. Usually I start with gameplay, being it's the most important aspect of almost any video game, but I just find that the characters of Far Cry 3 are so fascinating. In particular, I guess I'll start with the main character, right? I've had this thought for a while on why characters who are like sort of idealistic or morally kind characters who haven't really been tested by any hardships in life end up being the most calculated and cold-blooded and even ruthless badass characters after going through repeated traumatic moments. And I don't know what it is about that character like archetype that I find so compelling, but they have presence in a lot of my most favorite games and even like TV shows of all time. So like think of Walter White from Breaking Bad, right? Makes sense. Or Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2. By far my favorite character in the game, and it's not even close. Or with Spec Ops: The Line, another one of my favorite games of all time, with Captain Walker slowly descending into madness from losing his men to the chaos of the desert. It just works so well, and especially when you bring in incredibly skilled, manipulative type characters like Sintra, for example. And I'm just sitting here like, Jason, brother, how can you not see what's going on here? This woman may as well have trouble with a red flag next to it printed on her forehead, and you're still falling for this charade? But you get why it works on him so well, because she understands his pain of wanting to not only free his friends and protect them, but also get revenge on the people that took his family away. And she plays on that emotion of Jason knowing he's won less domineering, so he's easier to manipulate, and 2, less likely to choose the logical path of escaping with his friends at the first opportunity. This game, it did such a good job of crafting different characters that all felt like different characters who actually served a purpose. There's no wasted screen time for anyone. Every interaction with Jason has, like, whether it's with the wreck yacht, it's like meant to build up his confidence and trust within the resistance. And to me, it was blatantly obvious what they were doing from the start. For anyone who is clearly thinking, it's like when they're saying brother after meeting you shortly, or they barely know you. Yeah, bro, if you ever encounter someone calling you or being like, hey, my friend, or, like, how's it going, old pal, like, and it's from a person you barely know, please go ahead and back away nice and slow, because they're definitely up to something. Normal people don't act like that. And if you're paying attention to these interactions with Jason that he has with the rock yacht being overly friendly and reliant on him, or with the pirates and other general enemies using just debilitating and morally breaking techniques on Jason or even his friends.
Back in charge. Yes, don't get Keith. No. So, any close to finding me knife yet?
I'm almost there, I think.
Almost there, sir.
What, are you serious? All right, almost there, sir.
And if you paid attention to any of those moments, you should be able to catch the underlying meaning in it all, which is that anyone's spirit can be broke and remade. You just gotta know what buttons to push and what approach to take. Like, I'm gonna be honest, even as a 13-year-old playing this game for the first time, I was hit with whiplash when I was like, oh, can I say that word? Femboy Jason. He went from this scared, oh no, Grant, I can't do this. I can't do, even though it's a live or death situation, I can't do this. I can't kill anyone.
Oh God, I can't do this, Grant.
Jay, look at me. I can't find Lisa and Riley and the others without you. So pull it together, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
To this absolute badass killing machine going, woohoo! After blowing up some pirates in another life or death situation just a few days later during a rescue mission. Like, even 13-year-old me was like, damn, about time you grew some balls, dude. But only now do I understand that it was probably just Jason's way of holding back the darkness, of slowly losing his brothers and possibly his friends at the same time. And it was likely a survival mechanism that turned him into this like hollow killing husk that he turned into. And I know I'm spending most of the time breaking down the main character and not some of the other characters that are made just as good or just as much of an impact on the story, if not even more, like Voss, for example. A much more like memorable character, at least. But I really think it's because this game doesn't work without having Jason's character progression and seeing how he follows the path from naivety to like ruthlessness the further he starts spiraling out of control.
They come and they blindside you every fucking time. So they say to me, they say, Voss, who the fuck is it going to be? Them or me? Me or them?
Of course, I still think Voss and Hoyton, even Sam, are all really interesting characters, even Sintra, honestly. But Voss's backstory in particular was one of the most captivating stories I've seen of any video game antagonist. There's very few times I can actually feel, I guess in some way, bad for a mass I can't say that word as well, dang, I'm not saying that word. A mass taking away of life character, let's say. I mean, it's going to take some really traumatic, really drastic shit of betrayal and like manipulation going on for me to even feel a shred of sympathy. In Voss, he quite clearly was warning Jason with his statements about Sintra to him, like saying like, oh, are you enjoying my sister's company? She's going to make a warrior out of you. Like, Jason, man, take 2 seconds to think why Voss, of all people, would be saying this to you. Come on, man.
Are you enjoying my sister's company? Huh? She's gonna make a warrior out of you. You're so fucked, Jason.
And yeah, my stance is when you understand the villain, at least on some level, it makes the narrative much more compelling because it creates some sort of more ambiguity. And yeah, I'm not really even going over like the main story of Far Cry 3, which, I mean, if you're watching this video, you definitely already know or at least have seen it. I guess I'm really just breaking down my favorite characters in the story and the themes it presents. Not so subtly if you're even paying a little bit of attention. And then on top of that, the story boss fights in this game and like the big main missions, sort of like Far Cry 5's Fates region on steroids. And honestly, it gives me like, I'm not gonna lie, it gives me sensory overload after like a 3 or 4 hour session. My eyes are getting old or something, I don't know. I still like big set piece encounters, you know, get to the chopper style missions or hunker down and hold the cavalry back kind of missions. But after a few hours, I gotta get up and do something else, man. I must be getting old. Now, on the opposite side is the side quest content alongside the main story content, which there's no other words to describe it as other than just abysmal, awful, dreadful, insert negative term here. It's just a complete and utter waste of time, as well as other content that I'll get into later. But yeah, many of the blue marker side missions, and I'm talking about the actual like side missions, not the poster board notices that serve real purposes, but all these quests, without exception, follow one formula. Go to a place, do, you know, something random, take pictures or something, then go to 2 or 3 other places, do the exact same thing, and then return to the quest giver for like $500 in XP. I'm sure you probably forgot these even existed, because it's one of those things where you do one side quest, then you do the second one that's identical to the first one, but you're like, it's just a coincidence. You know what? It's in the same area, so I'm sure the next one will be different. Then the next couple of them are still the exact same. And you swap out that coincidence for pattern, and you start to realize you're literally just wasting your time when you could be doing other useful stuff like bounty hunting missions that actually make progress towards your crafting components. And then on top of that, they offer unique challenges per every hunting mission, like, you know, killing a tiger with a bow. Which, by the way, whoever thought of that, like making that killing these predators with a bow, I hope you stub your toe at least once a week, because that's sick behavior, man. That was tough to get through. But hey, at least it's unique, right? And all the challenges are unique, and they teach you to make use of your hunting skills and consumables if you're playing on normal difficulty and above, and it's very useful. So you have a really fun challenge it challenges you. Then they indirectly help you practice your hunting skills and your crafting skills, and then they reward you at least like double the amount in overall value compared to the basic ass take shots of these 3 dead pirates, soldiers or whatever for $500 and that's it. All of the like 5 or 6 side missions I did were a colossal waste of my time, and I just stopped doing them. And keep in mind, it was like in the first 8 hours or so many of them afterwards I didn't even bother with. So while the base main story on Far Cry 3 is spectacular and captivating in almost every way possible, the side quests couldn't be further from that, and highlights another issue with the open world of this game that I'll get into later. Anyways, I think that's enough for the story content. Now let's get into the best aspect of Far Cry 3 for me, is the raw combat itself, and more specifically what I mentioned earlier. We'll start with the stealth combat, the magnificent stealth combat. There's a lot of really good perks in this game, really fun and overpowered perks as well if you lean heavily into one playstyle such as stealth. More powerful perks, different playstyles, it's all really good, right? But stealth offers 3 times the XP of a normal kill. That's not including headshot kills, but still 3 times. Now let's combine that with playing the game on at least hard mode. You get down to 1 HP in the blink of an eye, and if there's a sniper, call it curtains. What is the obvious approach when you have things like a spotting camera to mark all enemies' locations and alarms in outpost? Or when you have like, I don't remember the exact amount, I think it's like almost 20 stealth perks to choose from out of the existing like 50 plus. And then on top of that, most weapons have a suppressor or extended mag attachment, but you have 4 weapon slots, so why choose the extended mag option, right? Just go ahead and get the suppressor since there's no downsides to it as well. And then lastly, you have that sweet animation of chaining takedown melee kills or getting in that flow state in stealth combat that you question why this game wasn't just made a stealth game. Or at least I do. My question is, what is the obvious approach to combat when picking between loud and stealth? When loud has almost no benefits outside of the scripted chaotic segments, which in that case, hell yeah, go ahead and whip out your RPG and get busy. I still really love playing that way as well. Clearing out outposts with reinforcements on purpose just so I get that tense combat kick is still really fun. But there's genuinely is like no tangible upside to playing that way over stealth in almost every single case outside of the main actual story instances. Again, I still really like those scripted missions like taking out my flamethrower and making quick work of these little plantation fields or whatever they're called. and then switching to my AK when I run out of ammo on that. And then when I run out of ammo on my AK, either going at the enemies with a knife or pulling out my LMG or SMG is all really fun too. But again, if you play the game on hard difficulty, which like I've said in the past, is the bare minimum difficulty I play on, since it forces you to use every combat tool. But still, the enemy AI is pretty damn good at flanking you or spamming shots and covering with a sniper rifle while these Molotov dudes manically advance on you. It's just really hard to play this super fast paced aggressive combat on hard and not up and die constantly if you're not extremely prepared for combat. And I mean prepared like placing mines down on the road, crafting extra explosive arrows type of prepared. Which in that case, again, just play the game stealthy. It's by far one of the best aspects about the game. Almost all the weapons and the way they perform outside of the heavy weapons encourage it. And you get the most training with these weapon types as well. That's something that I almost forgot to mention. I get so addicted to these like sniper challenges or knife throwing challenges, because not only is it sort of like a mini game, well, it really is just a mini game as well, but it mostly just helps you get better at doing these long range sniper shots or throwing knives more accurately. And then you can also win a boatload of money while you're doing it, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, let me go ahead and just segue that into my next point, which is the mini games being so addicting that I have to physically set like a limit of 5 mini game tries per game, or I won't stop. Playing poker or just bullying my way through a bus every time and earning quick cash. I gotta tell you, thankfully video games like Far Cry 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2 have such addicting gambling minigames, because I never want to do this shit in real life. Every video game that has like 3 different type of mini games, or maybe even just one really addicting mini game like The Witcher 3 with Gwent, it makes me spend like a quarter more time in the game than I would, because I'm just stuck there spending like the next 2 hours gambling and trying to bust ass just to beat the high scores instead of actually playing the game, man. I don't know. It's crazy. So yeah, between that, you know, the mini games and the poster board challenges, whether it's the hunting challenges or bounty missions, and the really addicting combat, in particular the stealth being the shining part there, and then you wrap it up with a story being superb in almost every aspect. You think because I mainly have only one minor criticism in the side missions that this game would also be a masterpiece for me, but we then get to one of the biggest detractors that sort of ties into like the tedious random RNG like side missions of scattered activities like radio towers and outposts. I'm not joking when I say I ignored almost all of them after I got all the weapons in the store for free, or only when I needed a better fast traveling point, because otherwise post 12 hours of the game they're all useless. And the main story missions provided enough combat encounters or level design differences that aren't really present in any of the like outpost missions. I honestly don't feel like repeating myself, because I made a whole video on this, literally just this one topic right here, about open world video game bloat and meaningless tasks, just filling out the open world for the sake of it. So if you want to hear my full thoughts on this topic as a whole, I'll leave that in the description so you can go watch that video. But short Cliff Notes version, yes, bloated games with excessive repeat content with little to no variation in between, not good at all. And it definitely was one of the main aspects that affected the overall score for this really good game. But yeah, besides that, that's it. I don't really know what I'm going to title this video, because although Far Cry 3 is still one of my favorite games of all time, it wasn't without its issues that still appear in Ubisoft games today. But for some reason it still did those same things a lot better, and they were a lot more tolerable back then than modern Ubisoft games. What I do know is this is still my favorite Far Cry game. I was singing a lot of praises in my Far Cry 5 videos, both to the base game and the DLCs. I said it has some of the best gameplay of any Far Cry game, but I did say I didn't care for the story, and I'll say it time and time again. One of the most important aspects of any game outside of the gameplay is an amazing story and characters. They sort of go hand in hand, really. I value them almost equally. I probably have a slight edge to gameplay, but for me Far Cry 3 does both really well, while Far Cry 5 does one extremely well. So yeah, I think Far Cry 3 it still barely just edges out Far Cry 5 for me. And it remains my third favorite Ubisoft game of all time, behind AC Black Flag and Watch Dogs 1. Those games, they just hit different on so many levels, especially with Watch Dogs 1. It's hard to explain. I doubt I'll ever do a video on that game, but that's one of my goats. But yeah, where do y'all sit with Far Cry 3? It's a lot of people's favorite Far Cry game. Some people still like Far Cry 2 a lot. I've yet to play that game. I'll probably have to play it at some point. But yeah, this is just one of my favorite games. If you agreed or disagreed with anything I said, then let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But yeah, anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you next time.